Hi, welcome to JSTV and our Yoga Chakra series. My name is Audrey. Today we're going to focus on the second chakra, which is Swadhisthana. That is in the lower abdomen and area of the genitals. So what I would like you to do to start this one is go ahead and come onto your back. Once you come onto your back, you're going to bring the soles of your feet together and let your knees relax wide. So a Supta Baddha Konasana pose. Bring your hands onto your belly. If you need something to support your legs because it's too deep of a stretch, you can always put some blocks or pillows underneath the outer thighs. We're going to work with a 3-part breath here to get us centered, to get us focused. So again, hands on the low belly, right where that second chakra would be. And as you inhale, you're just going to feel that belly rise. Bring that breath into the rib cage and the chest. And then exhale it out slowly from the chest and the ribs. And then you'll feel the belly fall back down at the base of that exhale. A few more of those. Big inhale into the belly, into the ribs, into the chest. And exhaling, reverse order, chest, ribs, and belly. Full breath in, full 3-part breath. Long, slow, complete breath out, making a connection to yourself. And that space slightly below the navel. Color associated with this chakra is orange. So as you take our last couple of deep breaths here, you can visualize that space lighting up, that color orange. Our second chakra has to do with changeability, mutability, flow. Exhaling out that final breath. And then just taking the hands outside of the upper thighs, you're going to bring the knees together and then lower the legs wide again. Now, if you feel like you can do this movement without using the hands, then the hands just can continue to rest on the floor, and you're just bringing the knees together and then letting them move out to the sides again. So we're bringing this nice flow of movement into the lower belly as we breathe, the hips and pelvis as we open and close the knees a few more times. Good, and then last time here, bringing those knees together and just set the feet to the floor a little bit wider than your hips, just barely wider than your hips, right? Press the feet down into the floor, and you're going to engage pelvic floor muscles, lengthen the tailbone so it almost feels like you're going to go into a bridge pose, but you're not really lifting your bottom up off the floor. Exhale, and then let that relax. You arch in the lumbar spine, tailbone will point more downward, so you just rock the pelvis like you're tilting it up and then tilting it back, right? Continue to breathe as you do that. Right, feel the breath and the movement as one. Feel the connection to that space in a way that feels like you can flow freely, although you still have that sense of stability underneath you with the feet on the floor, as you would, rooting down when we did our chakra 1 work. That's the last one of those little pelvic tilts there. And then you can bring the knees into the chest. Extend the legs up. And then just start to lower them down toward the floor. When they get a few inches from the floor, you're going to take them wide and bring them back together as you breathe. Now, for some of us, this could be a little too challenging on the low back, and in that case, you would simply take your hands under your bottom, and then same thing. Legs are just lifted a few inches off the floor. They open and close. If it's still too difficult, the more you lift the legs, the easier that's going to be for you. And you don't have to open them super wide. You're just getting, again, that energy flowing through second chakra area, making a connection. Last couple here. Bring the legs back together. Bring the knees back into your chest. Roll around a little bit on your low back so you feel a little massage in the area. And again, keeping with that idea of movement, of fluidity in that second chakra. Cross your ankles and we'll just roll ourselves up to standing here. Have your feet set just a little bit wider than the hips like we did when we did those pelvic rocks. Take your hands to your hips and you're just going to circle your hips around. Make as big of circles as you can without feeling like it's a forceful situation, or of course if it irritates your back or anything. So it's easeful and fluid movement here. Let's go the opposite way, making those nice open hip circles. Second chakra awareness. This chakra is akin to, again, the feelings that we have and our desires, our creativity, that ability that we have to be something different, right, throughout our lives. Go ahead and come back to center here. And then feet are going to go even wider. And we're turning the toes out now. Bend your knees, coming into a goddess pose. Arms are going to rise up, bend the elbows. You can bring the index and the thumb points together. And then just little bit pulses here. Lowering down, keep the knees wide, keep the thighs externally rotating, keep the breath moving, keep some engagement in the pelvic floor. And then just that lightness, right? That movability, that changeability that's allowing us to just like we're bobbing in the ocean here. A few more just like that. Mindful of the breath, mindful of that space. And we'll go ahead and press through the feet, straighten the legs, bring the arms down, heel toe your feet back together. Bring yourself to a standing Tadasana at the top of the mat. I want us to do a nice easeful flow for this chakra. All the while, again, keeping awareness at that space. Maybe you can start to see that color orange a little more vibrant inside of yourself. On the inhale, reach up. And as you exhale, you're folding in half into your Uttanasana. But inhale to your halfway lift. And exhale, fold. Bring the hands on down to the floor. Step the feet back into your down dog. And we'll take a few breaths here. Just move the hips real gently side to side. So whether or not your heels are all the way down, it's no matter, right? Heels could be up and you're still moving hips side to side. Continue to feel that you are connected to the earth. But now with that solid connection, you're able to move a little more freely up through the hips, the pelvis. And then you're going to slow that down a little bit. Come to that still downward facing dog. Take the right leg up. And as you exhale, bring that foot forward between the hands. Let's place the left knee down onto the mat. And then bring the hands up to the hips. Reach the arms up. And see if you can sink the hips a little bit lower. Now, without it being too intense on that knee that's down, or on your low back, just those little bit of feeling of pulsing again. So there's some movement here, although it's really slight, and you can feel like you're lifting and lowering from that second chakra area, breathing in and out of it. Good. Bring the hands down to the floor and tuck the back toes under. Lift that left knee. And again, we're just kind of circling around here. Little hips swaying side to side. Breath and movement working as one, although not as controlled as we do in some types of yoga or some instances in yoga, right? This is a much more free-flowing sort of expression of yourself. Let's go ahead and straighten the front leg. Step the back foot in a little bit more. Fold over that right leg in our Parsvottanasana. And take a couple of breaths here. If you can feel that navel center and the space below it lying over that front leg. Bring the hands forward a little bit more and just step that back foot in. Fold forward into your Uttanasana. Press to feet. Inhale, rise all the way up. Exhale, let's fold in half again. Halfway lift. Fold and step back to your down dog. Take the left leg high. That foot is coming forward between the hands and the right knee's coming on down. Lift your shoulders so that they're over the hips. Reach the arms up. As the pelvis sinks lower and you get that nice stretch in the quad and the hip flexor and the psoas. Keep the breath moving and then just find, as gentle as you can, some little pulses here. So it's maybe less a movement of bending and straightening that front leg and more a movement of lifting and lowering the pelvis and the lower belly. Let the hands come down either side of that front foot. Tuck the back toes, lift the knee, and then you've got some more hips circling around here, just in a way that helps you inhabit that space. That creative space, that feeling space, that space of self-expression. Whatever makes you, you. Good, and then we'll go ahead and straighten that front leg, step the back foot in a bit, fold over this left leg. Try to get a little longer through the lower abdomen. And then step the right foot forward to meet the left. Fold deeply. Inhale, rise to stand. Bring hands to prayer in front of the heart. And I'll have you step your feet wider than the hips again. Turn the toes out. Lower back down into that goddess pose. This time we'll keep the palms facing forward in front of the knees here, in front of the inner knees. Take another inhale. As you exhale, bring the left hand down as the right arm reaches up, and then come back through center and just switch. We're going to go a few times, back and forth to each side. Do your best to not feel like you're locked or stiff or tight in that lower belly, pelvic area, but that you have some freedom to move through that space and within that space. You have freedom to express yourself in the way that feels natural to you. Last one. Come to center, straighten the knees, bring the feet back to hips width distance. You're back into your Tadasana. Inhale to reach. And exhale, fold it out. Halfway lift. And fold in half. You can step back. Let's take it through a little flow here, either on hands and feet or hands and knees, right? So from your plank, maybe you set your knees down, lower down, or you can chaturanga. Come up to your cobra or your upward facing dog and just hold here for a moment. Engage the pelvic floor. See if you can scoop some of that low belly in. Yeah, and then tuck your toes and press back to downward facing dog. Full breaths in, full breaths out. Lift that right leg up, bend the knee, and make some big circles here. Feel the energy moving through that second chakra space. Go the other way, opposite direction. And then we'll straighten that leg again. Take the foot forward between the hands and turn sideways on your mat. You're coming to a wide-legged forward fold here, Prasarita Padottanasana. We're going to move side to side, and I want to invite you to keep your hands on the floor, or you can bring them into prayer or to the hips. You're just bending one knee and then coming to the other side, right? So they don't even have to be huge movements, right? It's what suits you. Yoga is always about what suits you, so that you're bringing yourself more into alignment with your true self, with your energy, and that flow of life force that's inhabiting you. Let's come back to center after we finish this second side. Hands to the floor. Let the torso just hang down for a moment as you scoop that low belly in again. Come back onto the hands. Heel toe the feet in. Rise to stand. Turn the toes out. Find that goddess pose again. We'll take some deeper pulses here this time. Hands can be on the hips, or perhaps you reach them up. A little bit of a larger movement this time. Keep the breath happening. Straighten the legs. Fold forward. Step back into your plank pose. Feel free to flow through or hang out in your down dog. When you're ready, we'll take this left leg up and bend the knee and make some of those circles on this second side. Go the opposite direction. And straighten that leg. Set the foot to the floor. Take your knees wide and set them down on the floor. Take your big toes together. Sit back into a wide-kneed child pose here. And as you do, set your forehead on your hands or on the floor. Wiggle the hips a little bit side to side. It's that rocking motion, like we did with the pelvis, and now it's a side-to-side rocking motion. And let's go ahead and recenter that. Bring the hands forward. Come to hands and knees. And just take a few cat and cow stretches here. Inhale as you arch. And exhale as you round, scooping the belly out. Inhale, and it's that extension through the spine. Exhale, and you're flexing, rounding. Couple more. Stay active through fingers. let's come to a neutral spine so that the back is flat. Tuck the toes again. Lift into that downward facing dog. Take the right leg up. Step the foot forward between the hands. We'll keep the back heel up. Rise up into a crescent pose. Lower the hips. That front knee's bent a lot. And then hands to the hips. And see if you can just take them side to side a little bit. And then the arms will reach up again. Hips are centered. Hands come to the floor. We're going to keep the feet right where they are and extend that front leg again. So this is a longer stance, Parsvottanasana. Breathe here. And as you get that active stretch in the back of the legs or wherever you happen to be feeling it in your body, see if you can bring that low belly in and then forward over that front leg. Rebend the front knee, hands to the ground, step it back. Option to flow here. We'll let the left leg rise. Bring that foot forward between the hands. You're rising to your crescent pose. And the hands are coming onto your hips. Gentle movement side to side. Everybody's going to feel this, experience this slightly differently. The areas that feel restricted or like they don't want to allow some movement, don't force your way into it. Right? Find another path. Find your own way into that space. So there's a sense of relaxation, a sense of calmness and alignment happening here. Reach the arms up. Hands come to the floor. That left knee straightens as you extend over that front leg, pulling the low belly in and breathing. Rebend that knee. Left foot steps back to meet the right. Maybe you're flowing. Stay with your breath. Let's take the right leg up. We're going to come into a pigeon pose here. So bringing that right knee forward this time. Just having that foot a little bit out of alignment with the knee. Square your hips and your chest forward. Pull that low belly in and up just like we do with the pelvic floor there, and then walk the hands forward to rest your head on your hands or the floor and breathe. And this may not be for everyone, particularly if you have really tight hips and this is already a challenge. But if you feel like you have a little space to move around and play with in a gentle way, all right, go ahead and create that in the pose, within the pose. This exhale, walking the hands back under the shoulders, tuck the back toes, lift that right leg up and back. Let's take a nice wide opening here this time. You can bend the knee and let the leg hang over or continue to extend. Hollow out that belly. Place the right foot next to the left one. Lift the left leg and bring that knee forward for your pigeon. Lower the chest down toward the earth, resting head. so that the neck is not straining. And then again, only if you feel like you have some room to play here. Little subtle movements, little gentle movements. And subtle and gentle movements can also be deep, right? It's how much you involve yourself with what you're doing, how much focus and attention you bring to that space and what you're working to create in that space. That's the depth. Right after this exhalation, hands walk back. Step yourself up and back and take that left leg high. Roll it open, or bend the knee if that's more pleasing to your body. We'll set that foot back to the floor. Set the knees down wide again, big toes together, child's pose. Let's bring ourselves up to seated and then onto our backs one more time, just like we started. Bring your knees into chest. Give yourself some low back massage here. And then option to stretch out into corpse pose, Shavasana, or to bring the soles of the feet together again, knees wide in your Konasana, in your reclining bound angle pose here. Stay with your breath, close your eyes. Visualize that color orange in the lower abdominals, in the space where the genitals and the pelvis reside. And the Bij mantra, the seed mantra for this chakra is VAM. It's V-A-M. So you're going to repeat that either silently to yourself or out loud if you're comfortable doing that. VAM. 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 As you visualize that color orange. And at this chakra, a lotus flower with 6 petals. A 6-petaled lotus flower at Swadhisthana chakra. VAM. 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 That's that vibrational sound in that wheel of energy, that vortex of energy. Self-expression, your creativity, your flow, your sexual essence, all aspects of this energetic place inside of you. The willingness and the ability to allow that energy to flow from you without rigidity, without shame or embarrassment. Full and complete expression of self. Feel free to remain in this position for as long as you are able to meditate. And I will leave you here. Thank you for joining me today. JSTV. Again, my name is Audrey. Namaste.